house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Been practicing this good,
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I
That
rushed
was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What up?
With us on the ones and twos for the first time this season and ever, man in the control booth is Bam, back with us.
Yo.
How's it feel to be back?
Feels good.
You've been on the podcast a couple times before, but first time in the producer's chair. We got a lot to dive into. Episode 212, hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. Big Easy Bets is brought to you by BetStamp. If you're looking for a place to place these sports bets, you need to take advantage of the promo offers. The link is in the description of the video, wherever you're watching or listening. You can also help out our podcast in the process. It's an essential app if you're an avid sports bettor. I highly recommend it. Episode 212, hit the like and subscribe. We went on a generational bull run, the best we've ever had. We'll dive into all of that. But before we get to that, we're a New Orleans sports betting podcast, so we got to talk about what happened on New Year's Day. 3 a.m., there was a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street. It was the first thing I heard when I woke up in the year 2025. I wake up, Lindsay says, yeah, there's a terrorist attack on Bourbon Street. I was half asleep. I was like, oh. Had no idea to the extent of what exactly happened, so I'm not going to Walter Cronkite the shit and give you a whole breakdown, but a guy drove his truck down Bourbon Street and ruthlessly killed 14 people, injured a ton of other people. Just absolutely terrible. It's shit that we'll never be able to comprehend. I have no idea why. It just doesn't make sense. 'Cause you clearly got larger issues at hand. You killed 14 people and destroyed their families, and you've accomplished outside of that nothing. So I just don't get it. But I put myself in their shoes. That there's been many a times where we've been down on Bourbon Street, drunk, not paying attention, in the exact same spot. So I didn't realize the extent, like right when I heard it, just the lengths or just the extent of everything. They had the IEDs planted all throughout the city, and it's pretty crazy, and it's kind of gotten glossed over.
Yeah, we got picked up on Canal Street by the police once.
Yeah, you remember that? Nick Fairley and, we were young. Saints were playing the Lions. Nick Fairley was across the street. Yeah, the cops came and got us. Probably did us a favor. But there's been plenty of times where we were on Bourbon, just, like I said, not paying attention, because you shouldn't have to pay attention on a street that's blocked off to anything but foot traffic. You shouldn't have to worry that some fucking moron is going to drive his car down and run you over. Just an absolute piece of shit that I just don't get it. I really don't. You've accomplished nothing other than taking 14 lives and ruining many others. And outside of that, you've some archaic fucking just bullshit way of thinking. And I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? I feel like we got to talk about it because it happened. It's weird and it hits different because it did happen in our backyard, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess luckily it wasn't earlier, you know?
Yeah, when more people were out.
You could have killed hundreds of people.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a big shout out to the police officers, because we've seen plenty of times where police officers don't not plenty of times, but there was the Uvalde incident, which we're not going to go super political and go down any road like that, but the New Orleans police sprinted into action. They ran right into the fire and took the guy out as he got out of the car and decided to start trying to shoot at everybody. So they neutralized the threat pretty quick. So you gotta tip your cap there. But yeah, I mean, it's like you hear all the stories coming out and oh, this one just graduated college, and this one would like just all kinds of stuff and all different walks of life. I feel like you'll spend your lifetime scratching your head to try to figure out why, because it's, if you're this guy, what did you accomplish? because the fucking show goes on. The next day, the game was played. The Sugar Bowl was played.
Yeah.
Everybody went back to their normal lives except the families of the 14 people that you killed and the other ones that you injured. I don't know. I'll never be able to get it. But our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those affected, and it's just a terrible thing. It really is. But we'll try to kind of move forward and pick up the morale a little bit. Like I said, we went on a generational bowl season run. We had an incredible first week of bowl season, and I said, we just got to do that a couple more times, and then we're going to get out of the gutter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we pulled it off. We got all the way completely out of the gutter, coming off of a 9-3-1 week for me, 8-4-1 week for Nick. And all of a sudden, we're like right around 53%.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable. 30-11-3 overall bowl season run with 3 games left. So still more money to be made. We'll get into the recap here in a second, but I didn't even really hype it up that much. Like, I didn't make a video or anything. It just kind of the funny part is, I always say before we start each season, you either ride with us to the end. If you ride with us to the end, we'll make money. At the end of the rainbow, there's going to be money. But you got to stick it out. And we had a terrible year to start. Ball not bouncing our way, bad picks mixed in, just unfortunate luck. The numbers took a dip. A lot of people stopped tuning in. And then we fucking go on a crazy run. So it's one of those, the people that wrote it out and kept tuning back in and kept tailing, you're welcome. Because we got it out the gutter. A lot of coaching carousels going on, a lot of week 17, whatever it was, week 18 in the NFL. Gerard Mayo is out after 1 year. What are your thoughts on that?
Rightfully so.
Kind of crazy, though. No, it is right.
They should have never hired the guy.
Okay, so the reason it's crazy. So yeah, he looked like the most unequipped coach. And their drop-off, they beat the Bengals in week 1. I was like, what's going on? But then he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. We got to be honest. And what doesn't make sense, though, is that Robert Kraft said he made this hire 5 years ago. He decided 5 years ago that they were going to go with Gerard Mayo. So obviously that means they're waiting on Bill Belichick to run his course. And when Bill's done, Gerard Mayo was chosen as the successor a half a decade ago. And you gave the guy 1 year.
Yeah.
With a rookie quarterback.
Who should have been starting from the get-go.
I agree. It just seems odd. And is it because Vrabel is now available? Or are they going to? Is it a mad dash to go get Mike Vrabel to be your head coach? Some of the stuff, Gerard Mayo didn't do himself any favors in the post-game press conferences and all of that. And he's like, it's not really anything I can do. It's on the players. It's like, well, you're the coach. So it's a lot that you can do, actually. And saying the defense is bad, it's like, well, that was the same defense last year. That was not bad. So he said all the wrong things. He did not do himself any favors. It is odd that they fired him after 1 year when they seemed pretty dead set that he was going to be the successor to Bill Belichick, because Robert Kraft said that verbatim. I made this decision 5 years ago. And then he got 1 season, and they gave him the can.
Yeah, I mean, he was never even a coordinator. It's like,
yeah, no, he jumped the line for sure.
I was kind of confused when they hired him.
Yeah, I agree, because
you go from
he didn't have like a proven background of being like this elite D coordinator. Like, it wasn't like he was Robert Saleh with the 49ers and stuff like that. So, yeah, he didn't have some elite defense under his belt that warranted him going to get a job. So other than he was just on the Patriots. But so Saquon Barkley did not play the final game of the regular season, so he did not get the regular season record. The regular season rushing record held by Eric Dickerson. Did you see him in the press conference? It sounded like he wanted to play.
No, I didn't see it.
So in the press conference, he was like, I mean, you do start thinking like that's something you can put your name in the history books forever and this and that. Essentially, he wanted to play the game. The coaches made the decision to not play him. I think you should have let him play.
Yeah, but if he gets hurt,
Yeah, I get it. They're franchise quarterbacks in concussion protocol. Saquon Barkley is the offense. He's arguably the MVP of the league. But he needed 100 yards against his former team to break the rushing record, and he wanted to do it. So I get it. I guess from their standpoint, they didn't really have much of a choice. You can't let them do it. But it would have been cool to see. And it's like he can get hurt at any point in time. Or y'all could lose to the Packers coming up. Mm-hmm. And then what? So that's a chance to put your name in the history books forever.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, until it gets broken, which it could soon, but it may not. Eric Dickerson's record stood the test of time for a long time. I thought that was interesting, though. It definitely sounded like he wanted to play. Tyreek Hill sat out the fourth quarter. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. He pulled an Antonio Brown, essentially. He didn't run off and strip on his way to the locker room, but he told them that he couldn't go in the fourth quarter. Mike McDaniel found out in real time that Tyreek Hill was unavailable. Then in the post-game press conference, he's saying just a weird word salad of nothing, and then he's like, I'm out, man. They're like, what? They're like, you're out of Miami? He's like, yeah. And then word comes out that he met with the GM, and he did not request a trade, and that they've smoothed things over. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think. He just sat out the regular season game of a game y'all needed to win to get in the playoffs. If they win and the Broncos lose, they would have been in.
They were playing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
he
saw the
definitely
score.
Looked at the score, yeah.
He was like, all right, I'm not risking
Yeah,
anything.
He definitely saw they were down 38-0. He was like, all right, fuck it. But still, it's a bad look. And
receivers are just weird, though, all of them.
Yeah, like
they're all kind of selfish players.
And that's been I don't know what the old adage or whatever, like T.O. T.O. was the prima donna, like the poster child. But when you're an incredible player, you get away with it.
Right.
But then you've got George Pickens, who hasn't done motherfucking shit in this league yet other than make some pretty good contested catches. That guy's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. And then he got put in such a mental pretzel by the reporter after the last game where Russell Wilson said him and Pickens aren't on the same page. And he's like, what are your thoughts on that? And Pickens goes, you said that? Or Russ said that? And they're like, Russ. He goes, okay. And he just ends his press conference and leaves. So, like, that fucked him up. He comes out, has 3 drops. I think he had 1 catch on 5 targets, multiple drops. It was just the worst response to that situation that I've ever seen. His body language is so bad. There was that one incident earlier in the year where he caught a first down. They're in the 2-minute drill, and he's just walking down the field. Tomlin had to take him off the field because he signals first down, and then he just starts walking for 25 yards. They're like going, hurry up, and he's on the other side. He's past the safeties. He's a strange dude.
Yeah, whose face mask did he grab against the Cowboys when the game was over?
It was at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw that dude on the ground, right?
Yeah, he just grabs him by the face.
No, he's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
He's got clearly a ton of talent. Great ability to attack the ball when it's up in the air, make contested catches, but he's a basket case, dude. You cannot. Who else was it? Jamison Williams gives me those vibes. Like he threw the ball in the dude's face and all of that. There's just some of them that are nuts, basically. Yeah. But Pickens is the president of that club, without a doubt. The night he got drafted, he was looking all hunched over with the fucking ski mask on, staring at the TV. Everybody's like, oh, he's ready. And it's like, no, I think he's crazy. So I would imagine Tomlin's kind of getting tired of it too. And I'm sure he is frustrated. Their offense fucking sucks. And people are like, oh, Arthur Smith, people want to interview Arthur Smith for a head coaching job. Why the fuck? Why the fuck would you want to interview Arthur Smith for a head coaching job? You just watched him botch a great offense in Atlanta with Bijan Robinson and not give him the ball. Now he's coming to Pittsburgh, and guess what? The only thing holding them back is their fucking terrible offense. And he just wants to run the ball like it's 1950 every play, and it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what it is where we just have this thing because we're dealing with the coaching carousel right now where the Saints are looking for a coach. The Jets are looking for a coach. The Jaguars are looking for a coach. There's plenty more that I'm not thinking off the top of my head.
The Raiders, the Patriots.
Yeah, Raiders, Patriots. But then people are sticking with their coaches. Like Mike McDaniel's going to stay with the Dolphins. Makes no sense to me because he's been a complete disaster. But it's kind of like this. Like the Jets are interviewing Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera, and they want to talk to Arthur Smith. And it's like, is it just because they know them? we're going to talk to. What do you have to talk to him about? You know their track record. You know Ron Rivera's track record. You know Rex Ryan's track record. He was your fucking coach before. So I just don't understand the inability to like step outside of the comfort zone and go get somebody new. Why the fuck would you want Arthur Smith? What have you seen from Arthur Smith that is like, that's our guy?
Yeah.
I truly, like, I would love to ask a GM that question. Like, what have you seen? Him misuse one of the best players in the league? Them not throw the ball to fucking Kyle Pitts and Drake London? I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy to me, though, because we constantly do this where it's the same guys talked about in the cycle every single time. And then he's going to go and he's going to do a terrible job and he'll get fired within 3 years. And then around and around we go. So Derek Carr came out and said that he's not going to take a pay cut. Do you think he should?
I don't think he should stay on the team.
Well, he's going to stay on the team for one more year at least. But do you think that he should take a pay cut this year coming up?
Yeah, for sure.
See, I think it's crazy to ask that. Like, he sucks. Let me say, I've said it a million times. Derek Carr sucks. He's drastically overpaid and he's not worth the money. But on what planet is anybody going to be like, yeah, take some of it back. You're right. I'm not that good.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Saints are going to have some issues, right, going into the offseason trying to put pieces together.
No, we're going to be the worst team in football. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, play on the worst team.
Yeah.
And
if you want to try to trade him, that's one thing.
Who's going to want Derek Carr after this?
Nobody. He sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So his best chance would be to at least make the team somewhat decent and have a year.
But why though? Like he said he owes it to his family needs that money. He owes it to his family to not. And I don't disagree, and I hate Derek Carr. But the mistake is on the front office paying him that money. We never should have paid him that much money. He's not worth it. He's not good. So I do think it's hilarious that he comes out and he goes, well, after what I put on tape, like, I'm not taking a pay cut. Buddy, you fucking suck. You suck so bad. And they baby this dude to the likes of which I've never seen before. We run all the good talent out of the fucking building, but we're going to baby Derek Carr and coddle his feelings. And the fans fucking hate him. And like I've said before, there is something to be said. I remember when we hired him, watching the press conference on my phone, the overall sentiment was positive. It was like, okay, this could be a good successor to Drew Brees after a couple years in between. People didn't just hate this dude the second he walked in, but there is something to be said that he managed to make the entire fan base despise his fucking guts. Like, that doesn't just happen. There needs to be accountability for like, oh, I'm a fucking piece of shit. Like, it's the lack of accountability, the lack of just like the passive aggressive and the condescending attitude and all of that. He clearly, that's been there, and the fans are picking up on it. It's not just like out of nowhere we decided to not like Derek Carr. And he's played like shit. So, but then you have his like apologists that come out and tout his numbers because it was garbage time numbers. Who gives a fuck? We suck. But I still, under no circumstances, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't give money back. Like if it was a situation where you know you're locked in and you're the franchise guy, that's one thing. But we're going to kick him to the fucking curb. We're going to probably be really bad next year, and then we're going to draft a quarterback. And then Derek Carr is going to be on the outs pretty soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if he's going to take a pay cut, that's because he knows that his position is secure, and then he is going to have a chance to compete for Super Bowls going forward. We're going to suck, and we're going to get rid of him as soon as that door opens, he's gone. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for not wanting to take a pay cut, but just say no.
How much were you going to pay him?
How much I think we owe him like $60 million on this next year. I could be wrong on that. I could certainly be wrong, but I want to say I thought it was something around that. Maybe it's a cap hit of 60. I don't know. But just say you're not going to do it. Don't be like, well, with what I put on tape, it'd be dumb for me to do it.
Yeah, the Saints are dead last, and
so we want you to take a pay cut because of what you put on tape. You suck. I just remember him throwing off his back foot panic and throwing that interception against the Chiefs. That plays in my brain over and over again. So,
yeah, he's the king of fourth down. He's just going to throw it up.
Yeah, he's going to throw a go ball and hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's what he does. So, no, he's one of those – he has some people that will go to bat for him relentlessly. I used to go to bat for Drew Brees. But there's a clear-cut difference because Derek Carr fucking sucks, and Drew Brees was arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Derek Carr is not good. It's garbage time numbers. When shit hits the fan, he panics. He has been the same guy. They're treating him like he's fucking Caleb Williams in Chicago. There's a big difference. This guy's been in the league for a goddamn decade. He got drafted when we were still in fucking high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm over it. But I don't blame him for not giving money back. Why would he? We shouldn't have paid him as much as we did. We were wrong. He's not the guy that we were hoping he was going to be. We shouldn't have rolled with Dennis Allen. We should have went a different direction there. We shouldn't have stuck with him as long as we did. There's a whole lot of issues that have been directly because of the front office. And I think Mickey Loomis has got to go, but he's not. He'll be there as long as he wants to. There's no light at the end of the tunnel unless we're the worst team in football next year. And then there's going to be a little speck of light. And then we go get Arch Manning. I've been saying it. I'm going to speak it into existence. So, all right, episode 212. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to do a quick rundown of another extremely, extremely profitable week. And then we'll give you our best bets for the college football playoff, 2 games. And then it's also wildcard weekend in the NFL. It's going to be a very good week of football. We started it off with Alabama minus 13.5. It's funny because, like I said, we went 30, 11, and 3. And some of these losses were remarkably unfortunate. The record could have been, we could have been looking at 33 and 8, maybe even better, realistically. Alabama minus 13.5. There was no rain in the forecast. They get the ball first. They're moving. They get stopped at the 50-yard line. They go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. Michigan goes down and gets a field goal. Then it starts a torrential downpour, like hurricane force winds, crazy rain for a span of like 20 minutes, real time, not even game time. In that span, the very first play, Jalen Milroe drops a shotgun snap, can't fall on it, gives Michigan points. The very next play of the next drive, he throws a ball to the flat. It slips out of his hands. Interception, gives Michigan points. The very next drive, strip sack because he's not paying attention with no awareness in the pocket. 4 drives. If you count the turnover on downs, it was 4 turnovers to start the game for Alabama, all in scoring position for Michigan. Michigan scored 16 points in the first quarter. I think they scored 3 points for the remainder of the game. Yeah, 16 points in the first quarter. 3 points came in the fourth quarter. An unbelievably horrific performance from Jalen Milroe and Alabama altogether. They weren't ready. They didn't have the cleats for the wet conditions. They clearly were not expecting rain because they slipped every fucking play. This one made me want to pull my hair out of my fucking head. I'm not even kidding. And I'm shocked that after this game, Jalen Milroe went to the NFL. Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck declaring for the NFL makes no sense to me. Carson Beck's coming off of he's going to have UCL surgery, and he sucked. And then Jalen Milroe has put forth, the last couple months has looked like an NFL running back. So I don't know what.
Yeah, especially Milroe. Milroe has no NFL future.
But he could go to anywhere. Go to hit the transfer portal, and he can get a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised he's going to the draft. So, like I said, we started out with a loser there. Then we had Washington plus 2.5. This was an incredible comeback. Damon Williams Jr., I think his name is. I'm going off the top of my head, off of memory. Led an incredible drive there late down the stretch, and then they went for 2. They didn't get it, but they lost by 1. But that guy's good. He's going to be a guy to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah.
Illinois plus 10 against South Carolina. They won the game outright. This was actually a very good game. Brett Bielema and Shane Beamer were going back and forth. Bielema walked to the other side of the field and started chirping. They were hitting him with the substitutions, where if you time it right and you take your sweet time, you can force them to get delay of games or take a timeout. And South Carolina kept falling for it, and Illinois was getting them with it. Bielema goes to the other side of the field, starts hitting him with the substitution sign, and they were about to. It was a very exciting, meaningless bowl game, but Illinois plus 10 gets the outright win. They didn't look spectacular, but Altmaier took care of the ball and did kind of exactly what we thought. LSU Baylor, I had over 59.5. You had plus 3.5, a double winner here. shitload of points. There was a pick six early in the game. LSU couldn't be stopped for a large portion of the game. Baylor ended up kind of getting some things going, which, like I said, going in, they have a decent passing offense. LSU's defense didn't play that bad, though. Whit Weeks broke his leg. That was terrible. But overall, I mean, Nussmeier looked pretty damn good. He made a couple Nussmeier decisions. But for the most part, I thought he looked pretty impressive. So double winner there. Boise State plus 11.5 in the college football playoff. I don't hate this one, to be quite honest with you. I felt like Boise had opportunities. They couldn't convert in the red zone. They were moving the ball, though. There was a lot of opportunity through the air. I thought Maddox Maxson played pretty well. I don't know about you. They kept not converting, taking advantage of opportunities, and then Penn State, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So loser there, but I was on Arizona State plus 12.5. You were on the opposite. You were on Texas minus 12.5. This was an incredible game. Texas dodged an absolute bullet. A 4th and 12. They go cover 0, and Texas hits them over the top to even force the next overtime. It was weird. We'll dive into it, into the recap. It was one of those Texas games where, in large part, they were kind of dominating the game. And then eventually Scadaboo and that offense kind of hit some chunk plays and their defense did very well stopping the run. But like I said, we'll get to that. So Arizona State plus 12.5 was a winner for me. Ohio State minus 2.5. I'll speed it up. Best team in the country. Absolutely kicked the dog shit out of Oregon. Notre Dame plus 1.5. Ole Miss minus 17. Both winners. Ole Miss killed Duke. Texas State minus 14 was probably it wasn't a good pick. Minnesota minus 7.5, and then Buffalo minus 2.5 is what we closed out the day with, or closed out the week with. We had a Missouri push from the week before, so I go 9-3-1. Overall, that brings me to 89, 81-4. You go 8-4-1. That brings you to 69, 64-3. But 14-6 in your locks of the week. I don't know how many consecutively you've hit, but it's been a few.
Yeah, we can't gloss over that Texas State was playing against a quarterback that hadn't played quarterback since 9th grade.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so it was up in the air. We didn't know who was going to play for North Texas, and they picked a guy from Austin, Texas that couldn't even start on the good freshman team. They had an A team and a B team. He last started on the freshman B team, and then he had to move to safety. And this kid came in and fucking diced up Texas State. So, unfortunate break there. But, yeah, when you go through it, SMU, Penn State, I thought SMU had opportunities in that game as well. And then if Jennings just didn't implode. But you got Ohio, minus 3. They were up like 17 points in the second half. We push on that one. That should have been a winner. You've got Boston College in Nebraska, a 5-point loss for a 3.5-point underdog. Boston College, they had stuffed inside the 10-yard line twice. So that's 2 right there. Could have been winners. That was in the midst of an incredible 7-1 Saturday that we had. What else? The A&M USC. A&M choked the game away. That's 3 potential winners.
Yeah.
South Florida, San Jose State. It goes to 5 overtimes if they doinked in a field goal to force overtime to begin with. That should have never even went to overtime. That should have hit the under. That's 4 winners. So I mean, when you dive into it, we go 30, 11-3. That's 4 games. We could have been looking at 34, 8-2, which would have been fan-fucking-tastic. And that's the problem with this. We just had the hottest run we've ever had in the 5-6 years that we've done this show. And I'm just thinking about those 4 games that could have. Like, we were winning so much. It's like when Steph Curry shoots a 3. When he misses, I'm like, something happened. What the fuck? Like, no. And so when we were losing a game, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we're not it just, I got so accustomed to winning throughout this stretch that I was like scratching my head when we didn't. I needed it. This was a tough season. I needed this for my fucking soul. It was a good refresh, and it felt good. It felt good to get him back. And still money to be made. Big games ahead. So we'll start it off with the first game Thursday coming up. The Orange Bowl, you got Notre Dame taking on Penn State. Notre Dame's 1.5-point favorites. The total sits at 44.5. Probably can find differing numbers there.
45 maybe. Maybe 45.5.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's 45. Okay, yeah. So as low as 44.5, as high as 45.5. There's 45.5s in multiple books. Yeah, there's varying numbers. You got Notre Dame -1 all the way to Penn State +2.5. So which one of these are going to be a lock? This one or the next?
The next one.
Okay. Well, lead the way.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Penn State. Penn State has had the easiest path to make the semifinals, right? They've done a good job pounding their opponents. They ran it 40-plus times in both of the games, averaging 5 yards per rush. The defense has really stepped up in both of the games. They forced 7 turnovers in 2 college football playoff games against SMU. The offense didn't look good. They were really able to establish the run late with a lead that was created by their defense. They only had 325 yards of total offense. 21 points in that game came from turnovers. And Notre Dame, it's kind of the same thing. Notre Dame hasn't been winning because of their offense. 244 yards total offense against Georgia, only 90 passing yards. Key runs by Riley Leonard late in this game kept Georgia from getting back in it. Against Indiana, they had 394 yards of total offense. But if you take away the long run, 98-yard rush and touchdown from Jeremiah Love, and things look a lot different in that game. Riley Leonard, he seems to make plays when it matters most, but there's a major cause for concern with him throwing the ball. He keeps throwing it at his guys' feet. In both of the games we've seen, he just keeps throwing it at the guys' feet. It's an ultra-conservative play calling from Notre Dame. They're kind of, letting their defense do all the work. Jeremiah Love, knee brace. He's been practicing with a knee brace from the practice reports. Abdul Carter for Penn State, probably going to go. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. All the reports I'm seeing are that he's going to play.
As far as I can tell, he will be out there. They're playing a little bit of cat and mouse. They're not giving you a definitive answer. I would be shocked if he doesn't go in this game.
So considering these defenses, their ability to impact the game, I kind of expect both offenses. Notre Dame's been calling ultra-conservative plays. I expect Penn State to kind of do the same, especially to start. So I'm going to go Notre Dame, Penn State, first half under 22 points.
Okay. I'm on the full game under 45.5. You got nothing for side right now?
No, I mean, the thing that worries me with it's a close spread, 1.5 points.
Up to 2.5 if you want.
The reason I like the first half is because I think, you're looking at a close spread overtime is a possibility. So
yeah, that would suck. And yeah, neither team is, especially with the styles, neither team is going to want to make that critical mistake that puts them outside of their game plan, and then they got to kind of operate out of their comfort zone to get back in it. Yeah, I was looking for every reason. I like Notre Dame. I've said it coming into this season. I've said it throughout this entire season. Notre Dame's damn good. That defense is incredible. They're dealing with the injuries. Mills on the defensive line, like you just talked about. Jeremiah Love with the knee brace. He got banged up against Georgia. The final score indicates a decisive win for Notre Dame against Georgia, but like you touched on, only 90 passing yards. So they weren't lighting it up through the air. Notre Dame scored 17 points in a 1-minute span. Offensively, they were outgained. You had the field goal, then you had the strip sack, then you had the kick return touchdown to start the second half. It was a back-and-forth defensive battle there, and then all of a sudden, due to some fortunate breaks, a good defensive play, you got to get to the quarterback and get the strip sack, a good ball by Leonard to score that touchdown going in, and then that was their first kick return touchdown of the season. So, like I said, fortunate breaks against a quarterback that has not played before. I don't feel confident. That's why I'm on the under. I don't feel confident in Notre Dame's offense at all. I think Penn State did a pretty good job against Ashton Genty to contain. It's kind of like what I talked about with Ohio State and and who the fuck did they play? Or who are we talking about? Texas. I'm blanking. Arizona State. Texas ran the ball well against Clemson, and then a lot of that came from chunk plays, though. So it was, can Arizona State make sure that doesn't happen? And is it really like, okay, Texas is now going to have the ability to establish the run? Penn State's done a good job of taking away explosives. So, like you said, if Jeremiah Love, if you take away that 98-yard touchdown run, they didn't do a ton on offense, and they weren't lighting it up through the air. I just don't know this path to success because this Penn State defense, my brain's coming back to me. I was bouncing around there. The Penn State defense is number one in stuff rate. I don't know that if Notre Dame isn't having success on the ground, which I don't think that they're really going to be able to do, what is Notre Dame going to do? Is Riley Leonard going to now all of a sudden light it up through the air? Because the weakness of the Penn State defense is the secondary. If there's a weakness, it's the secondary. You can take advantage of it if you have the ability to do anything through the air, but I don't know that Notre Dame does. I like Faison. Outside of him, they don't really have any weapons. Then on the flip side, like I would lean Notre Dame with the points. If it hits 3, I'd have to take it. I'm not on it currently. I don't think it'll go to 3. It looks like it's going the other way.
Yeah, it's not going to.
But if it did, I would jump on Penn State for sure. Just with I think they have more versatility on offense. But I think Notre Dame's very equipped to take away Tyler Warren. They have really good safety play, specifically Xavier Watts. I think they have people that can match up with Tyler Warren. Outside of that, they don't have a ton of superstar playmakers at the skill position. But they have 2 quality running backs. And I think Aller gives you more with his arm, but he's left a lot to be desired as well. They started out really well against Boise State. He hit some really good throws, really good touchdown passes, and then they went stale too. So Boise started having a little bit more success. I would imagine that this is going to be more of a back and forth, kind of feel like the Georgia game, and then you got to just hope for no fluky bullshit, basically. So I'm going to go under 45.5 full game. You're going to go first half under. Which way would you lean? Side.
I don't know. At this number, maybe Notre Dame, but at 2.5, yeah, definitely started to lean Penn State. Would have definitely placed a sizable bet if it got to 3.
Yeah, there's still – it says FanDuel's got a 2.5. I don't know if this is accurate, but yeah, I mean, it's like what is Notre Dame's path to success, especially with their path to success is hurt. And Price is a good running back too. I don't not like Price. But if Love's, I mean, this is multiple weeks now in a row where we've seen him come out for extended period of time because of the knee, and then he's leaving in a knee brace and now practicing in a knee brace. So if he's at 75%, it's like all it takes is one hit for one, but you're going up against arguably the best run defense in the country. So what is their path to success?
It's going to come from whoever makes a mistake first on offense, and then it's going to kind of put one team behind.
Yeah.
You kind of trust Notre Dame. I think they lead the nation in turnovers created.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, and I really do. I like the fact Leonard, although he's not lighting it up, he's not putting the ball in harm's way.
No,
and neither is Aller really, but
yeah.
I don't know. I trust the Notre Dame defense a little bit more, even though Notre Dame's offense is definitely a step below Penn State's.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And like I said, I like that dude Faison. He's a dynamic weapon. Outside of him, though, I don't know that they really have anybody. They had the transfer from Clemson. It's just, are they going to be able to take advantage? Because especially in the play-action game, they're going to have opportunities through the air. But I don't know if they're capable of capitalizing on them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll go your first half under. I'm on the full game under 45.5.
It's really going to suck if Penn State wins, right?
Why is that?
I don't want to see Ohio State, Penn State in the national championship again.
Oh, so you're sure that Ohio State's going to win?
Oh, yeah, I'm 100% sure. Not 100% sure, but
You said you don't want to see him in the national championship again?
I don't want to see him play again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do.
It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, I hope it's not.
And it probably wouldn't be close against Notre Dame either, but
Yeah.
at least it's a game you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I hope it's a fucking boring blowout. I've got my Ohio State futures bet in my back pocket, so I'm not here for fucking exciting nail biters.
Honestly, I think the next game's the national championship.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, okay, we'll move on. Second game, national championship. Ohio State taking on Texas. Ohio State's 5.5, 6-point favorites. 53.5 is the total. All right, let us know. This is your lock?
Yeah.
It's Ohio State, and why?
No, I'm not taking Ohio State.
Then you're going over.
Uh-uh.
No, going under?
Yeah. Going under 53.5.
Okay, well, we'll just, fuck it.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
Tell us why.
So I think you kind of, you look at these teams, right, and you have the full season of what's happened. Texas's defense, before this playoff started, I was like, okay, this is the best defense in the nation. Now you kind of have to flip it and say, okay, Ohio State has the best defense. What Ohio State has been able to do on offense in the playoff, it's way different than what they were been able to do in the regular season, right? 473 yards of total offense against Tennessee, 42 points. 500 yards of offense against Oregon, 41 points. Jeremiah Smith's an unstoppable force, size, strength, speed. Tennessee against Tennessee, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns against Oregon, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. Texas defenses look vulnerable in the playoff, but I'm not willing to write them off. I still think the Texas defense is going to be the best defense Ohio State has played all year. Really not expecting a whole bunch from Texas offensively here. I think there is a chance Sarkisian might be able to dial up a couple plays here and there, maybe to keep this game close. But I think this is the top 2 defenses in the country, and I still have questions, even though Will Howard's playing really well. I'm still not totally sold on him. It's been 2 games, right? So you can't just erase what's happened this whole year. So I'm going to go Ohio State, Texas under 53.5.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm beginning to think that they were just playing possum. And they were just like, we're going to win we know we're going to win. We're not showing anything. I don't know why, because anybody with eyeballs could tell you that Jeremiah Smith is good. So you could have just let him light it up. But the way that their game plan, it's completely flipped. They're throwing it all over the field now. What they did to Oregon was one of the most impressive first halves of football, other than the touchdown at the very end. They dominated Oregon. They took them out of that game within minutes. Jeremiah Smith's the best wide receiver in the country. We've been saying it like a broken record. Will Howard's playing great in the college football playoff. But yes, if there was a team that is capable of slowing down this new Ohio State look offense, it's Texas. They have a good pass rush and a great secondary. So Colin Simmons can, which I question how much of this high-flying pass offense are we going to see just because of the matchup and with the way that their defense is playing. If Texas is not able to run the ball, they have no shot. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. Against Arizona State, which is a inferior run defense in comparison to Ohio State. Arizona State, Texas had 30 attempts for 53 yards, 1.8 yards per carry. Ewers, on the season, Ewers has 19 turnover-worthy plays and only 17 big-time throws. A big-time throw is classified as a good downfield, possibly tight window throw. A good, lengthy throw. He's got more turnover-worthy plays than big-time throws. If you have to put it on his shoulders, he's not going to be able to get it done for you, so they're going to have to establish the run if they're going to have a chance And I just don't see it. He did it against Arizona State. He just throws it up for grabs. He will throw. You see him throw it deep, and I'm so used to Drew Brees growing up with Drew, where it's like when he threw a deep ball and the camera was panning over, you're like, somebody's wide open. When Ewers throws it, it's like, who knows? And then you see 3 of the other team, and you're like, what the fuck is he doing? I question, but I don't think it applies. But I question if Ohio State, like we've clearly seen Ohio State peak. Are they peaking at the right time, and can they maintain what they've shown? I wouldn't see why not. I lean Ohio State laying the points. Obviously, like I said, I'm sitting on a futures bet. I thought about betting Texas to win the national championship because I do agree. I think this is the national championship. Either one, whoever wins this game is going to go win the next game. And I do think the secondary for Texas is good. And so that stylistically – like we may see Ohio State lean on the run a little bit more and try to establish the run with Henderson. I think Henderson's more efficient than Judkins.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for that Judkins game. I feel like we're going to get one where he busts a couple long ones and you because he is good. He's an incredible running back. He just hasn't had as productive as a year of what we're used to when he was at Ole Miss. I mean, with the side, you'd have to lean Ohio State, right? Like,
yeah, I've gone back and forth. So, earlier today, I was leaning Texas, and then, 5.5 start popping up, and then you're like, okay, maybe.
So do you think Texas is going to have success throwing the football?
I think if it's a defensive struggle, like I kind of do think it's going to be. Ohio State has an aggressive defense. I think Sarkisian might be able to dial up a couple plays here and there that could result in explosive plays. So
you see, I'm beginning to like that's the same way I felt about Sarkisian this entire year. And then he didn't do shit against Georgia. And they should have lost Arizona State. To be honest, they certainly should have lost that game. It was 4th and 12 for the game. And Arizona State let them beat them deep. The fact that they even threw the deep ball was impressive. And you got to tip your cap to Ewers because he fucking threw a great ball and at the highest tension point of the game. But I wasn't impressed with the offensive. I don't think that's a very good Arizona State defense.
Yeah, I get the feel that Texas was they kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit. They had a lead, and then they tried to run.
Well, they hit the 2 plays early. They blitzed them. They hit the one deep ball, and then they hit the touchdown pass. But
then they returned the punt for a touchdown. They're sitting there in the second half, and even in the fourth quarter with
that's funny you mentioned that
lead.
too, because there was a tremendous block in the back on that punt return. That it was literally the block that sprung the punt return touchdown.
Yeah,
I was pissed. I was on Arizona State, and I even went back and watched the replay. Clear block in the back, and that was the one guy that could make a play on him. I haven't been impressed with Texas in the college football playoff. So I felt like you let a Clemson team score 24 points. I don't think that Clemson offense is very good. And if not for those explosive runs, we're looking at a different ball game there. And then they stuffed Klubnik on the 1-yard line. So Clemson was right there to be in the 30s. Then you have Arizona State score 31. I get they went to overtime. I just haven't been impressed. And then now you've got Ohio State playing far and away the best football. Tennessee 42, Oregon 41, holding them both to 3 touchdowns or less. And like not even just winning, but dominating to the likes of which it's not even a contest. So you've just got 2 different sides of the coin. And it's just one of those. It's like sometimes these teams are just that fucking good. They might just be that fucking good.
Yeah, I feel like it's 2 teams kind of opposites. So like Ohio State has turned it on, and I feel like Texas has kind of played around a little bit. I think they're certainly capable of playing better, especially defensively. So it just seems like even against Clemson, it seems like the defense hasn't been really exotic. It's been kind of vanilla defense from Texas, even last game. It's like, you're not really sending a bunch of pressure. You're not trying to create havoc in the backfield. It's like I don't know. It just seems like Texas.
But it's also the competition that they're playing though. So you've got Arizona State without their best wide receiver, the clear cut. What, Tyson? He was far and away their best wide receiver. And then you've got a Clemson offense that's not that good. I just like Golden is the guy who stepped up as their leading receiver. I don't think Golden's that good. I don't think that they have I don't know. Isaiah Bond is not filling the role that they thought.
He's been injured.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the lineup, but he hasn't been – he's not what they thought he was going to be. Like, he hasn't filled the role to the extent of what they were hoping for. So they don't have a superstar on the outside. I don't think Golden is that spectacular. I think he's a good wide receiver who's taken advantage of his opportunities, and he's catching the balls that are thrown to him. But I don't think – he's not a Jeremiah Smith. Like, he's not a game breaker. And I just think having Jeremiah Smith is going to make life – so much easier for Egbuka and Tate and just everybody else. I don't think that Texas, even with the secondary, it's a very good. It's grading out as the top secondary in college football. I don't think they're going to have an answer. I feel like you're going to have to put all your resources to go stop this guy, and that's going to open up for all these other 5 stars. There's just too many weapons for Ohio State, and then they have the ability to run the football. So that's the big thing. Is Texas going to be able to establish the run? In my opinion, that's what it comes down to. Because if you have to, like you said, if it is a defensive struggle, I still feel like Ohio State is going to be able to establish the run more effectively than Texas will, which will then open up more of a balance for their offense. I just wasn't impressed with Ewers. If you take away that first drive, that was damn near 100 passing yards. So I don't know. I think I'm going to lay it with Ohio State. And like I said, I thought about just betting Texas to win the national championship. Like, because I'm sitting on the Ohio State ticket. I thought about take Texas, and then that's because if they do win the game, then it'll be way less odds, and they'll be favored against Notre Dame or Penn State, without a doubt.
If Ohio State wins this game, there's no doubt in my mind that they win the national championship. If Texas wins, though, it's like, you never know.
I still think they'll win. I think these are the 2 best teams. But yeah, I
think if Notre Dame wins and Texas wins, then Notre Dame can beat Texas.
You think?
Yeah.
Then how the fuck are we not thinking that Ohio State is going to beat the dog shit out of Texas? Because I don't know how Notre Dame scores in that game. Unless they really run it
like all
down
these
the throat.
other bums have been scoring.
I guess. Yeah. But so that's what I feel like I get too hesitant where I'm like, this Ohio State offense is incredible, but can they keep it up type of thing? And it was kind of like that with LSU. I'm like, are we really going to beat every team by 50? Like, are we really going to throw fucking 5 touchdowns to Justin Jefferson in the first half? So I'm not saying this team is that good. They're not. But they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah, to me it comes down, okay, I believe that the changes in offensive philosophy or whatever they've been changing is real, right?
Yeah.
But the inefficiencies that we've seen from Texas the past 2 games, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to factor that into taking Ohio State here because I'm going to go for the full season sample size of them being one of the top tier defenses in the nation. So
okay, but just playing devil's advocate, trying to find the best way to the finish line here. Who has Texas played with a great offense? I agree. I think their defense is worthy of the praise. But when you break down who they've had to go up against, they played nobody. They played Georgia and lost at home. Then they played Vanderbilt, won by 3. But, like, when you look at the dominant offenses that they played, it was Georgia twice. Yeah. So I get –
and they shut Georgia down in the SEC championship.
They did, yes. But Beck got hurt at halftime. They were shutting him down before then. I understand. Trust me. That was my biggest bet of the fucking year. But my point is, it's kind of like what we were saying with Ohio State not having to go up against a good defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same point applies for this Texas offense this Texas defense not having to go up against anybody worth a shit on offense. Because you got Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Georgia, Clemson, Arizona State. So who's the best offense? Georgia?
Yeah.
And that's a shit Georgia team, in my opinion. Like, in comparison. Like, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I don't think Carson Beck's good. I've said it a million times. So I'm not blown away by anything that they did. Like, when you really dive into it, they haven't played anybody. So I just question, is it – I feel more confident in Ohio State. And the eyeballs will tell you Jeremiah Smith's fucking incredible. So you've got this Texas secondary that's grading out very, very well, and they are good. And Barron or Barone or whatever, number 7, is a really fucking good player. I like Colin Simmons a lot. True freshman, thought he was going to come to LSU. Incredible pass rusher. But I think in the trenches, Ohio State has an advantage. Kelvin Banks got hurt again at left tackle for Texas.
I think he's expected to be back.
Yeah, I think he'll go, but he's been banged up. He's been in and out of the lineup the last 4 games.
Yeah,
so,
and when he's out, they can't run.
Yeah, no, he's a first-round pick for sure. But yeah, I'm just beginning to, like, I don't know how much substance there was to this Texas defense because, I mean, it was all Scattaboo, but he was 30 carries, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I know it was a chunk on one of them.
And he had 99 reception yards.
Yeah, maybe a little push off on that one, but
yeah,
it was still a good catch.
They threw a flag on the defense.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
But you get what I'm saying, though. I don't know that it was literally what I said after watching the spring game. I was like, this Texas defense looks pretty fucking good going up against the ones. I was impressed with the secondary and all of that. But the grade looks better than what we've actually seen. So at least the competition. So I'm going to lay the points with Ohio State. And it's just one of those, I just don't know how. It's going to take a lot of Will Howard mistakes. You know what I mean? And you've got 2 guys that are basically very similar and could make the same mistakes with Ewers and Howard. And either one can fucking throw an out route pick 6 and put you behind the 8 ball. So, but I just think with Texas, it was alarming how little success they had rushing the ball. So whether it's Blue or Wisner, whatever, the linebackers, that dude Simon for Ohio State's really fucking good. I just think they have the guys. The D-line's obviously great. I just think they're fucking good. I really do. I think if Texas covers this number, it's going to be like a backdoor situation. You know?
Yeah.
So you're going under. I'm going to go Ohio State minus 5.5. What number do you have?
Under 53.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna if Ohio State comes out and has a shitload of success throwing the ball, it could be a little of what I said that Texas was trying to untested, but it could just be Ohio State's that fucking good, and yeah, they're gonna waltz to a national championship, and Ryan Day will live to see another day. Bam, which way would you lean in this one?
I think Ohio State's going to deal them up.
Yeah.
They just look on a whole nother level than everyone else right now.
Yeah, I thought for sure that when you said your lock was on this one, I thought it was going to be Ohio State. And then you even did like a little Freudian slip where you were like, it's Ohio State and whoever. And I don't want to see Ohio State and Penn State in the national championship. So your conscience was telling you don't think Texas has a chance.
I do think they have a chance.
They are plus 450 to win the national championship if you want to.
But not a realistic chance.
Well, what does that mean?
I mean, they're 6-point underdogs.
Yeah, the spread tells you that they are the least likely to win, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not hitching my wagon to Quinn Ewers. I can't do it. And clearly you can't either. You're expecting him to struggle.
I don't know. I mean, the way Ohio State has been using Downs is like the guy's all over the place, right?
He's the best defensive player in the country.
Yeah. But they're able to, kind of put him in the middle of the field and let him play closer to the line of scrimmage.
He can do everything.
Yeah. And he's like a do-it-all type of guy, so
I might bet him pick 6.
It's gonna be if Sarkisian can dial some stuff up here.
Yeah.
And
I thought
Texas
he
likes to use a lot of misdirection, so you wonder if
But it's also the red zone struggles too, though.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst teams. They're terrible in the red zone. So yeah, it's like what they did at Georgia, the SEC championship, a shitload of yards and can't finish drives. And then on top of it, throw it in that their kicker is fucked. Sarkisian gave him the one last, like, this is it. I'm giving you the fucking eye-to-eye contact. You're going to go hit this kick, and he fucking shanked it. So he's done for. When you stare your coach straight into his eyes, and you're like, he's smiling. He's like, I got you, coach. And then you go out there and you fucking shank it like that, I would not trust that motherfucker. I said it against Georgia. I said, this kid's fucking dumb. He's a problem. And he sucked that game, and he sucked every game since. So he's in his head bad. So if he's getting up there to kick, it's that tension where everybody's like, oh, we know this motherfucker's going to miss. Like, the fact when he missed that second one, I couldn't believe it. And to send him to overtime, that's when I knew he ain't making shit. So I just don't know how – I don't know how you feel confident with Texas.
Yeah, the other thing that kind of is keeping me away from Ohio State is the game's in Arlington, Texas, right?
What, you think it's going to be like a home field thing?
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more Texas fans than Ohio State fans, but travel.
Ohio State's going to fucking travel.
I'm talking about the team.
Oh,
one team has to travel, one team doesn't. Yeah, there's certainly going to be an edge for Texas here with in the crowd.
Yeah, but where did Texas just play? What they play? Who the fuck did they just play? Yeah, Arizona State. That was in Atlanta. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Ohio State went home, and then I'm sure.
Yeah, they go home.
Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying.
And it's worth something.
Yeah, but how much? How much? I mean, yes. If it was in anyone's favor, it would be in Texas's favor. But I think the fans for Ohio State are going to fucking travel. It's been a minute since they've won anything. They lost to Michigan this year. Now all of a sudden it looks like they're world beaters. And then, yeah, I mean, the travel aspect, sure. But I don't know. We will see. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like you kind of want to take Texas with the points.
Yeah, I did. I would have taken them at 6.5.
Just money line them.
Fuck that.
We'll see. It's gonna be we'll see it. We'll see if Ohio State can keep it up. So, alrighty, that is our best bets for the college football playoff. We're down to 4 teams, and then we'll have about a 10-day layoff, and we'll be back for the national championship. So in Notre Dame, Penn State, I'm going under 45.5, and then I am taking Ohio State minus 5.5.
I'm going Notre Dame, Penn State, first half under 22. And then we're going Ohio State, Texas under 53.5.
Alrighty, that is our best bets. Again, we have absolutely run roughshod through bowl season. Nick's 14-6 in his locks of the week. We flipped the script on this college football season, and we were both in the green. We needed it. We had to have it, and we got it. We will do a quick run-through of the NFL. It's been as good as it's been going in college football the last few weeks. It's been going equally as bad in the NFL. I had one of my locks from last week, or my lock from the previous week, roll over into this one because it was in play as we were recording. It was the Falcons +4. They were up 17-7 at halftime. Michael Penix Jr. led a drive to force overtime. +4. You like your chances to cover that number going to overtime. They didn't. Jaden Daniels goes down and scores a touchdown. A really tough way to lose a lock, and then we turned right back around, and we lost another lock. Saturday, we had the Bengals -2.5. The public squares were – the public's been winning like crazy this year. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get in while the getting's good, and I'm going to take a square bet. I'm going to take the Bengals -2.5 on the road in a divisional matchup against the Steelers, a game in which the Steelers wanted to win for seeding purposes. The Bengals dominated this game essentially from start to finish. I'm still scratching my head how they did not cover 2.5 points, but they didn't. So we lose back-to-back locks. And, I mean, when it rains, it pours. I truly don't know how they didn't cover this game. There was strip sacks and score in opponents' territory and some unfortunate breaks. The Steelers had 193 yards of offense. They had 119 passing yards. The offense is horrific. Najee Harris led the way with 36 rushing yards. Joe Burrow, the first drive, made it look incredibly easy. But they let Pittsburgh score 10 points in the fourth quarter. They get inside the number. Pittsburgh loses by 2. The Bengals are going to Cabo because the Chiefs didn't even basically show up for their game. So 2 losers there. We had the Giants +4. They lost by 7. Then we had 2 winners. Bears +10. They win the game outright, which was an alarming outcome for the Packers. And then we were both on the Lions -3. Oh, you were on the Bengals too. It was your lock. That sucks. Lions -3 was fun because they beat the dog shit out of the Vikings in the second half, and that was a big bet for me this weekend. I needed that, so that was fun. Jahmyr Gibbs is incredible, 4 touchdowns, arguably the best player in football. Yeah, I don't know how the Bengals didn't cover this number. I really don't. Whatever.
Yeah, they nearly ended up losing somehow.
Yeah, I know.
Because Pickens with that drop deep downfield in a key moment in that game, and then Freiermuth right through the mitts on 4th down.
Yeah,
when they were about to get in a field goal range.
Yeah, I checked out once I realized it was fucking nothing we could do. So I go 2-2 on the week. Like I said, the Falcons +4 rolled over. I'm 49-61-1, 6-12 in my locks of the week. You went 2-1. You updated your record.
Yeah.
27-35-1, also 6-12 in his locks of the week. We are not doing well in the NFL. It just is what it is. It's been a tough season. I would say, I think I've said it before this year, historically, over the course of this podcast, we probably made more money betting the NFL than college football. Not the case this year. But there is still opportunity ahead. We're going to try to, are we going play for every game?
Sure.
All righty. Typically in years past, we try to give you at least one play for every game of the Wildcard Round and so on and so forth. We're going to start it off Saturday, 3:30 kick. The Chargers taking on the Texans. The Texans are at home getting 3 points. Total sits at 42.5. Which way are you going in this one?
I kind of want to go over 42.5.
Okay.
You have 2 top 10 defenses in total defense, passing defense, and third down defense. It's kind of why this total's a little bit low. Mm-hmm. But I think both the teams have good enough rushing attacks here to sustain drives. So, I don't know. Kind of a contrarian play.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the side?
I don't know.
I want to take the Chargers.
Yeah.
I've been ready to fade Houston in the playoffs for a few weeks now. We talked about it. We expected a little bit of regression from C.J. Stroud. They beat the Titans when they weren't really – I think Stroud might have played the first drive, right?
Yeah.
Looked good.
Damian Pierce went off.
Yes, 19 carries, 176 yards and a touchdown. Stroud was 6 of 6, 50 yards and a touchdown. It's against the Titans, though. I can't get Christmas Day out of my mind when the Baltimore Ravens absolutely just beat the dog shit out of them. 31-2. The only points were because their defense got a safety. Offensively, they did not score a point. Tank Dell, critical weapon, obviously out for the rest of the year. And then before that they played the Chiefs on the road. Couldn't do much in that one either. I think I just trust Justin Herbert more in this situation. And I think they're similar teams, like you said, with the defenses. Dobbins being back is big for the Chargers, having to have some semblance of a rushing attack. I don't know where Joe Mixon went down the stretch because you look in that Ravens game, which Joe Mixon was having a pretty good year. In the Ravens game, he had 9 carries for 26 yards, a long of 8. Against the Chiefs, he had 14 carries for 57 yards, 4 yards a carry. I think I'm going to take the Chargers. It might be it might be a square play. It probably is. Home team getting points in the playoffs, first round. I get it. I like Harbaugh. The turnaround that he's had. Maybe it's 2 teams kind of, I guess, it's like we thought the Texans were ahead of schedule last year. The Chargers are ahead of schedule this year. First year with Harbaugh, complete 180. Now they're in the playoffs. They're 6-3 on the road. I just trust Herbert more in this spot. 23 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's taking care of the ball really well. With Dobbins coming back, giving them a little more balance, I don't trust that offensive line for Houston. And I just think offensively, Tank Dell was like their most productive wide receiver since Nico Collins got hurt. So I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to see, can I get a 2.5? I believe so. You think it's a square side? Yeah, there's plenty of 2.5s.
I don't know. At 3, I would probably start to lean Texans, but
yeah, we'll see. All right. Second game on Saturday, we got the Steelers and the Ravens. Ravens are at home, 9.5-point favorites. Total sits at 43.5. Which side are you going in this one?
We're gonna lay the 9.5 with Baltimore.
Okay.
The Steelers suck.
Yeah.
Not only that, Pickens is. We talked about it earlier. It's like, I don't know, the locker room here. You don't have much faith in what's going on over there. The Ravens, arguably the hottest team in football. They've won 4 straight. Mm-hmm. It's going to be cold, 26 degrees with a slight chance of snow, moderate winds. I like Baltimore here. The Steelers defense really, it's good, but it's really not. It's not as good as we thought earlier in the year. So
it's just the pass rush. If you can hold up against the pass rush, you can throw on them.
And Baltimore defensively, where they were struggling earlier in the year, they've kind of tightened things up a little bit. So, you have one of the hottest teams in football and one of the coldest teams in football. Division matchup. I think it was 1-1 in the regular season. I like Baltimore to win big again.
Yeah, I'm laying the points with the Ravens as well. I don't know how you – same thing. I don't know how you look at – I don't know how you see what the Steelers are doing on the offensive side of the ball and you feel confident at all. If you're betting on the Steelers, you're betting on a TJ Watt strip sack and then fucking a field goal and hope you don't lose by 10. So, especially with weather involved, I don't know. The offense has looked extremely stale. So, we're in agreement there. We'll go to Sunday. Broncos and Bills. Bills are 9-point favorites. Total sits at 46.5. Bo Nix and Sean Payton, another team ahead of schedule. The Broncos were in cap hell. They had the Russell Wilson contract. They got a rookie quarterback. And they're in the playoffs, first round, going to take on the Bills. Which way are you leaning in this one?
I don't know. You kind of lean Bills here. It's in Buffalo, a hostile environment for a rookie quarterback who we've been low on, but performed above our expectations, to say the least.
Yeah.
Broncos defense, though. Top 10 total defense, third-ranked rushing defense, third-ranked scoring defense. The question is can they do enough, you know? And can Bo Nix make enough plays to keep the Broncos in it? I don't know. I'm going to go Buffalo here. I think Buffalo's offense is in the category of unstoppable offenses. So,
who's leading the way? Receiving option.
You know.
Khalil Shakir?
No name Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm going to go Buffalo as well. The worry is the Broncos defense and all of that. But the Buffalo Bills are really good. It is what it is. Josh Allen's going to be the MVP of the league. Is Bo Nix about to go on the road into Buffalo, a team that, has been dying for postseason success and has come up short year after year after year. I don't think that you're going to see Bo Nix come in and have much success in this one. So I'll lay the points as well, -9 with the Bills. They got anything better than that?
There was 8.5 earlier.
8.5's on ESPN Bet.
There is? Okay. Yeah. Okay. 8.5 with the Bills. Which game's going to be your lock?
The next one.
Oh, mine too. Fancy that. So we'll skip the Packers and Eagles. And we'll go to the Commanders and Buccaneers. Sunday night, Tampa's 3-point favorites at home. The total sits at 50.5. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go Bucks. Bucks -3.
I might go Commanders. I don't – look, I've been low on the Commanders. And like, can I get a 3.5? No. That Buccaneers defense is bad. You saw what Spencer Rattler was able to do. I would almost. I think this game's going to be a shootout.
It's so hard to run against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Secondary sucks, right? But yeah, it's going to come down to, man. If you're on the Bucs, you're praying Baker doesn't do any pick sixes.
It's possible.
Yeah, he loves.
Jaden Daniels doesn't really do them.
He loves to throw it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Commanders. I just think this is the year that Jaden Daniels has had. I think that Bucs defense is very susceptible in the secondary. I agree with what you're saying. It is tough to establish the run, and that would make life easier for Jaden Daniels. But that would just be the cherry on top on his Pro Bowl season to go on the road and win a game, you know?
Yeah, and quite frankly, this is who got snubbed. Jaden Daniels. Baker Mayfield got fucking straight snubbed here. So I'm going Bucs.
You're trying to get. I think you should go Jaden Daniels.
Dude, it's a rookie. I'm not betting on any rookies.
He's not just a rookie. He's the rookie of the year, and he's a Pro Bowler.
No.
Well, he is a Pro Bowler. We bet on it.
What happened the last time the last LSU Heisman came in as a rookie?
What happened?
What? Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Tore his ACL.
Didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Oh, wait, that was next year.
They ended up drafting Jamar Chase of number 5 overall.
Was it 5 or 4?
Top 5.
I think it was 4. Yeah, he tore his ACL. Yeah, you're thinking year 2, but I like where your head's at. Yeah, I'm going Commanders. I think you're making a big mistake. You've had it out for Jaden Daniels for years.
Yeah, I don't
for
like
years since he was at.
And now I hate him even more.
All right, Monday, Vikings and Rams, final game of the wild card round. The Vikings are 1-point favorites. The total sits at 47.5. Is it?
Oh, shit.
Are the Vikings being disrespected in this spot? A team 14-3 just went toe-to-toe with the Lions in the first half, got blown out in the second half. But the Rams, 10-7 at home, and it's essentially a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Which way are you going?
Rams.
I'm going Vikings. Why are you going Rams?
I mean, we've seen these teams play before.
Yeah.
Rams really beat the hell out of them.
But can they do it again?
Yeah, I think so. I think offensively the Rams are really good.
Yeah.
Defensively a little underrated as well. But, yeah, I kind of think the Rams offense being at home, it's just too many weapons.
I would need 3 to take the Rams. At 1, I got to go Minnesota. It is a shitload of weapons. I agree. I still trust the Vikings defense more than the Rams. Sam Darnold did not look good in that last game. Sam Darnold was missing a lot of throws. I don't know if you noticed in the red zone, he had Jordan Addison wide open. And that's a thing, too, though. If you can get competent play out of Sam Darnold, the Vikings have a shitload of weapons, too.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Jordan Addison to complement Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones is running the ball well. You got Hawkinson's still there, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Addison was open on those red zones. There was a couple times where he was wide open, and Sam Darnold did not see him. So that was worrisome, where he was doing those overthrows again and making some critical mistakes. Kevin O'Connell did not have a very good game plan, in my opinion. I expect Kevin O'Connell to come back and do a better job dialing up offense. So, yeah, at one point I got to go Minnesota. I understand you can say the spread's telling you which way to go and this and that. I'm going to take the Vikings. I think if it was 3.
Rams are a big-time sleeper.
You think? You got them winning the next
I
round?
think the Rams might be able to
I don't know.
go all
dude.
the way.
Okay.
Not win it all, but, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if
What, are they going to beat the fucking Lions?
shit.
I will bet everything.
Who would
on the
have to play the
Lions.
Lions?
The
It's
Rams,
not bracket
right?
style. It's lowest seed.
Yeah, isn't it the Rams?
No, they're home team. So if any away team wins,
Well, it would be the next team. It would be the Rams or the Bucks, right? It would be the Rams. They're going to play the
There's
next worst
3.
team.
yeah, but there's 3 games.
What do you mean?
So let's say the Packers win. they'll play the Lions will have to play the Packers
Would they? Why?
because they would be the lowest remaining seed.
Oh, you're right. They're 7th. They got a better record, but why do the Rams have a better seed? They won their division?
Yeah.
I guess they had to, yeah. That was a dumb question. Yeah, that sucks. The Packers aren't fucking winning. What a waste of a bet. What a waste of a futures bet. All right. Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. It's not Bam, which way would you go in this one?
Probably the Vikings.
All right, I'm going to take the Rams. No, I'm kidding. But that's not a good sign.
What do you do?
I don't
Just
know what
always
I'm
agree
talking
with him
about.
every time he asks you?
Well, it is the public side, I'm sure. So
He asked you about Ohio State. You said, "Oh, I think Ohio State's
yeah.
gonna win."
I mean, Ohio State's going to be
and
the
then
dog
now he
shit.
asks you
That's
this. I'm like, I'm waiting for you to ever disagree with him.
That's only twice, and then you got the Vikings at 14 and
Take what I
3.
say with a grain of salt, because obviously I thought Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl his first year.
All right. Yeah, I got to go. Like I said, I'm going Vikings. I believe in Sam Darnold. I don't know.
Maybe Daniel Jones will get in. Darnold gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, maybe fucking whoever the fucking
They said
backup
they're
for the Rams
activating
is.
him.
Put him in for fucking Wildcat.
Yeah.
Let him run some.
Let
run the
him
ball.
trip.
All right, all we have left is our lock of the week. Maybe we do a little 3-2-1 on this one. Best bets in the NFL, no such thing as a lock, but if there was,
Kramer, you've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need, come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
all right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, Packers. Packers plus 4.5 is the lock of the week. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol. He might not even play. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, I think the Packers have a ton of weapons. They have limped to the finish line. They have not looked good the last couple weeks. I still believe in LaFleur. I still believe in Jordan Love. I think the elbow's fine. Everybody's going to make a big deal out of that. I respect Dr. Chow. Dr. Chow said no problem. Said he should play. Shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. We're sitting on the Packers futures bet. I hope it doesn't end this week. Maybe we can get an opportunity to do something the following week. But yeah, I'm going to take the Packers plus 4.5 as my lock of the week. Got anything to add to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say
I
much.
love LaFleur. You remember the Eagles were really struggling to pass the ball. Mm-hmm. They finally kind of get something going, then Buddy hits his head.
Yeah.
Oh. Not good for the Eagles. I think I'd be surprised if Hurts doesn't play, but I mean, I
They
guess
said he's still not practicing.
yeah, I don't understand how he's still in protocol. Like, is he still? How do they?
Like, lie to him, dumbass. Tell him your head doesn't hurt. Like
How many
everybody
fingers?
else.
He must keep getting the fingers wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my head's still hurting. Well, fucking, do you want to play or not? Yeah, if he doesn't play, then we've got an incredible bet. But he's going to go. But the Eagles' defense is damn good. And that does worry me because the Packers are that team that have a high ceiling and they have not yet been able to achieve the potential. Hopefully we see everything start clicking in this one. Christian Watson's not going to play, so that's a little bit of depth at wide receiver. But Christian Watson's been in large part a bust in his NFL career, in my opinion. You've got weapons. Establish the run with Josh Jacobs. 4.5 points is too many. If they lose, they'll lose by 4.
Yeah, I think the Packers went out right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think Philly's going to go 14?
Packers money line.
Okay. Alrighty, there you go. That is our best bets for the wild card round in the NFL. I am taking the Chargers minus 2.5, the Ravens minus 9.5, the Bills minus 8.5, the Commanders plus 3, the Vikings minus 1, and my lock of the week is the Green Bay Packers plus 4.5.
Chargers Texans over 42.5. Baltimore minus 9.5. Bills minus 8.5. Packers plus 4.5. Buccaneers minus 3, and Rams plus 1.
All right, Bam, you get one bet to put your reputation on for the wild card round. Any one on the board, side or total. Which one is it? Put you on the spot. You got to have one in your brain that you've already liked. Give it to us in 3, 2,
Give me the Steelers plus 9.5.
Oh my God, going against both of us.
Well, you
Okay.
can get 10, so.
Bingo.
Give me 10.
Take 10. That's so okay. We can have 9.5. 10.
He wanted to
can
go
push.
Packers, but he was like, I can't go the same as that.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was about to
That's
say Eagles for a second.
okay. Okay, at 4.5.
Cha-ching.
Oh man, yeah. This opened at 3.5, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I think,
I saw us off 5 at one
yeah,
point.
no, that's what I was saying. It jumped out pretty quick. So there you go. That is our best bets for the wild card round. That is our best bets for the college football playoff. Like I said, we completely got it out of the gutter in college football. A generational run in bowl season. We pondered the idea of maybe not betting every game in bowl season. This has taken that thought out of my head altogether. I will always bet bowl season till the day I die, and I'll always be thankful for what it did for us this year. Episode 212 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam, do you have anything to say before we go?
Who that?
We appreciate you filling in. We're not that. We stink. But episode 212 is in the books. Hit the like and subscribe button. We will be back talking national championship next episode. Y'all have a good one.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this, a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.